Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 27 of the Finger Lakes Golfer Podcast on FingerLakes1.tv and YouTube, recorded live on Monday evening, June 15th, 2015. A special U.S. Open preview edition. I'm your host, Jim Sinacropi, and it's great to have my co-host, the Big Easy Bob LaPrade, alongside in studio, as well as a man who has, excuse me, actually played the course, the U.S. Open host course, Chambers Bay in Washington State. Rhett Ticconi coming back in studio, too. So a full house tonight for a special episode where we'll preview this week's United States Open Championship, the season's second major, and we're going to tell you why, for several reasons, this will be unlike any U.S. Open you've ever seen before. We'll also talk about the torrential rain that's been putting a damper on the first couple weeks of June here for golfers in the Finger Lakes, and we'll catch you up on the latest golf news, events, and results. But first, fellas, Bob, how you doing? How was league tonight? Wet?
Good, yeah. It's very wet. Very wet. Cart paths only. Tougher conditions than normal. But unfortunately, we've had a lot of rain move through the area in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, nothing we can do about that. Now, someone who might not know about that is our other guest here, Rhett, who's been in Florida golfing for the past several days.
Sorry, I missed that.
How was your golf trip?
That was great. Played like 5 rounds in four days. Busy week, but when you're
sounds busy, yeah.
Yeah, when you're playing golf, it doesn't feel so busy.
Right. Yep.
Rhett even brought me home this sweet, nice gift here of a vest, a little windbreaker vest from Trump International Golf Club.
Nice place too.
And so, what kind of rounds did you shoot there, Rhett?
Well, I always we've been going on this trip. I think I mentioned it when we were talking about the tees the last time. This trip is an annual thing. This is our 18th year, and I always have set my goal to never shoot in the 90s on this trip, and it's never happened until this year. So
oh, congrats!
Oh,
nice, very nice.
Must be attributed to playing with you guys and getting more rounds in than normal.
Oh yeah, getting mentally tough playing with us guys.
It was nice. He actually won the daily kitty on Saturday, so that was good too.
What was your low day?
That was the low day. Saturday was 82.
82.
Oh, very nice.
So
very nice.
It was good.
Well, now Rhett's also played, as I mentioned, Chambers Bay. He's played a lot of courses, this guy.
Right.
But
very fortunate.
Chambers Bay. I was almost shocked when he told me that he played that course, because in a former career, Rhett, I'm assuming that's when you played Chambers Bay, when you were working for the Miami Dolphins.
No, actually, Chambers, I got on, played with a friend of mine who played at Cornell, who's in the NFL now, Brian Walters. He's from Seattle, and he played for the Seahawks the last couple of years, and went out to visit him last year, and we played a few courses out there, and Chambers was the gem that we played. Obviously, he's played it a few more times than me, but it was he was nice enough to get me out there, and it was great to play it the year before the Open.
Nice.
Got to see a lot of what was going on, some of the changes they were making, and things like that.
So, what year was it that you played? Just last year?
Played last year. Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's
guy plays them all.
I try. Been very fortunate to get on a few nice ones.
Well, let's talk about this tournament. It's the 115th U.S. Open. It's my favorite major of all.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe edging out Augusta. It's tough. I think that if the U.S. Open was in April and Augusta was in June, I think something about Augusta being the first one out the gate in the spring when you still can't golf yet.
Yeah.
Something special about. But as far as like the competition, the field, the whole feel of it, nothing like a U.S. Open.
Right.
And this is the first time U.S. Open is going to be in the Pacific Northwest. So Chambers Bay is a public course. Anybody can play it. Link style. Lining Puget Sound, although no water on the course itself, just a lot of waters in the vistas and views.
Great views, absolutely.
It's a walking-only course, so if you go play, you're going to have to pay $299.
Highly recommend a caddy.
Yeah, it sounds like it's some tough terrain.
Sounds similar to like Bethpage, right?
Yeah. It's another municipal course that is hosted and open along with Pebble.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first all fescue U.S. Open, so a lot of courses have native grasses for the region. Since this is the first time in the Pacific Northwest, that's a little something different. And it's the first original design by Robert Trent Jones to host the U.S. Open.
Oh, wow.
the conditions out there in the Northwest just seem ideal for these types of courses. You know, Bandon Dunes, and haven't played that yet, but Bandon Dunes and Chambers Bay. It seems like the soil there, it's all sand based, so it's it's easy to grow it out the way they want. They blow out those bunkers, and so they're all just wide open. A lot of not a lot of green, a lot of brown.
Right.
Yeah, a lot
Nice.
of it's I don't know, link style courses
Yeah.
for U.S. Open. I don't know how big of a fan I am of that, Bob. What do you? I mean, I kind of think U.S. Opens is seeing some trees out there, but this course only one tree on the whole course.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
I like it. I think it's if you're gonna miss it, I think it's a little bit more challenging to miss it in the high fescue or those. If you hit it in the trees, you might have a little lane to hit it out. But if you hit it in this high grass, it's tough probably anywhere in that high grass.
You're gonna have to take your medicine.
Yep.
Definitely. There's no room for error. I mean, it's either fairway or fescue, and you're looking at stuff, some spots knee high, and good luck.
Yeah. Puts an extra value on hitting the fairways.
No doubt.
Another interesting thing about this course that Rhett knows well, there's no collars around the greens. This
No.
just goes from fairway to green, and it's almost indistinguishable when the fairway ends and the green starts.
Yep. You'll see guys rolling the ball up there. Using some of the greens are like bowl shaped, so they'll use side hills up on the collars to land it in one area and roll it around almost like a complete circle. A couple of the holes are very interesting green complexes. He did a number on this course and really made it interesting to your approach shots. If you're driving it well, you have a good chance, but if you're not, you might as well pack it up.
Now, Robert Trent Jones is known typically for having elevated greens, but
Yep.
on this course, would you say they're more, sunken, or are they elevated?
Some are sunken, some are elevated, but I wouldn't say more. They're contoured for sure, but like they're not elevated like a Pinehurst, so to
Okay.
speak. You're hitting elevated shots up to them. But when
Right.
you get up there, it kind of flattens out, so you can run a ball up to it and
Got you.
it'll hold. But there's definitely some different types of approach shots. Some of the holes, on some of the days are going to play from a different tee box and be 100 yards shorter or longer.
Right.
And you may have a trap that's not in play one day that comes completely into play on the next day.
Right.
So not only are you may have a blind pin too, depending on if you're on the left or right side of the green, or fairway. So
Right.
you definitely need to. Your caddies the caddies are going to earn their money this week. That's for
I
sure.
bet. Yeah.
They need to know. If you look at your yardage book, you need to know where a pin's going to be, if it's on that tee box at number 9 up on the 100 feet up, or if it's sitting below the green. So
Right.
Yeah.
there's just so much to think about there. That the players, a normal course on tour, they're thinking hitting the fairway, hitting the green. What am I using? An 8-iron, 9-iron?
Right.
Now they're thinking, do I got to hit on the left side of the fairway, right side? Am I coming across this trap? Do I hit it to the left side of the green and roll it down?
What did you shoot at Chambers Bay?
I think I had a 94.
From what tees? Like the
They were
same tees they're playing in the U.S. Open?
No.
Because I like to do that when I
Yeah.
play a course like that.
Right.
We were trying to shoot a good number and play it a little back. It was a long day for me. Not only walking the course, but I was hitting a lot of long irons and hybrids. So
Yeah.
I didn't use too many short clubs except for the par fives. But we didn't play any par fours at 500 plus yards like they're gonna this weekend. But
Right.
for me, a 490 yard par 4 or a 450 yard par 4 is still pretty long. So
Well, mentioned the length. This is not going to be the longest course, U.S. Open course, that we've ever seen. That would have been 7650 back in 2008 at Torrey Pines. But this is about a max of 7,600 yards this course is going to play at. So it's close.
yeah.
And it's absurdly lengthy. It's going to feature the 3 longest par 4s in U.S. history and 4 of the top 5 longest in U.S. Open history. And that'll be the 14th, which is measuring out at 546. These are par 4s. The 11th, which is measuring at 537. The 13th, that's measured at 534, and then the 18th at 525, and then the only other one in the top 5 after this tournament's completed will be the 16th at Pinehurst in 2014, which played at 528. Those are par 4s.
Mm-hmm.
And another interesting thing about this is that the first and 18th holes will be either par 4 or par 5, depending on what round it is and how they set it up. The pars will actually change. The par for the day will be the same. In other words, they won't both change to a par 5 or a par 4, but one day 18 will be a par 4, one will be a par 5. The next day they'll swap.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the interesting thing, 18, when it's a par 5, there's a massive bunker in the middle of the fairway. It's like 10, 12 feet deep.
Yeah, you have to take steps to get down there.
You go down. If you're on the fairway, you can't see the person that's down there, and that totally comes into play. I think when it's a par 4, it doesn't come into play at all.
Yeah.
Because then they're just hitting it over it. But on their second shots on a par 5 day, it definitely comes into play. So just coming down, imagine that if they put it as a par 5 and you got that going through your head on Sunday in the final group or during the end of the day. It's going to be a tough one to finish on.
I imagine it'll be a par 5 on Sunday, given that.
Making that come into play. They put that in just for the tournament.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But then they have some short holes that you can possibly eagle.
Right.
The one I think it's 14. Is it 14 or 13?
It's not 14. 14's 546.
Might be 12. I think it might be 12.
There's a lot of elevation change
12.
too, and the thing is, you're going to get a lot of run out on some of these longer par 4s. So you get one of those big hitters. Might not be uncommon to see maybe even a 350 to 400 yard drives on some of these holes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, the one hole, trying to think of which one it is. It goes straight downhill. Yeah, 10 I think. 10 is not 10. Where is it? Let's see.
Well, apparently one of the holes you can get up to 150, 200 yards a roll, right?
Yeah. Yep. I think it might be number 5. One of those is goes down. You hit your driver from a raised tee box as well down, and you can just roll it for days if the wind's behind you.
Right. That's incredible.
The par 3 9th hole has a 100-foot downhill tee shot to the green. A huge elevation change, but on at least one day, maybe more, they can take an alternate tee location, which is about 90 degrees east of and downhill from the original tee, and it will be then a slightly uphill tee shot. So, you're going to play the same hole. One's a 100-foot downhill shot, another one's slightly uphill the next day. And I don't know, how was that hole when you played it? Was that the downhill?
We played it up top and hitting down. And we played it from the back tee on that hole. So we played it like 225, hit a 3-wood into the front bunker. But if the pin's on the left and you hit your ball right, I mean, you could have a 100-foot putt. I mean, the greens are so big.
Did you even know there was another tee there to the east that you could have?
We didn't really know. I mean, we walked on it and when you're going down, but we didn't really notice that because you don't really think about it because you come off of 8, which is all the way up on the top of the course. And it goes all along the whole top fence area of the course, and you just you're already up there, so you're not really even thinking about that because you got this view, and you're just kind of the whole time you're walking this course, you keep looking at the water, and it's very distracting because it's such a beautiful place, and it's hard to focus on your next shot. So, standing up there on the 9th tee box, looking out at the Puget Sound and all the mountains, it's pretty impressive. And then you're standing over your ball, just thinking, please hit it straight, because for an everyday golfer, there's about 6 or 7 bunkers in front of that green. So,
wow.
Well, one of the group of people that's going to be happy for the scenic views is Fox. This will be the first U.S. Open not on NBC Sports in a long time, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But a couple more items here on the course itself. Because of the elevation changes and then the course being so taxing to walk, for competitors and caddies, they're predicting an extra 10 to 12 minutes longer per round than they normally would allocate for the rounds to be completed. And
these guys are slow as it is.
Yeah, well, now they're going to be winded.
Oh, man. Yeah. You better be in shape.
The greens at Chambers Bay are problematic for the tour players for a couple of reasons. We mentioned earlier their fescue, which can best resemble dirty, dead grass, like you might imagine seeing in one of the old British Open courses. And that sometimes doesn't react consistently. Sometimes it's quick and grabby, depending on the grain,
Right.
and sometimes it'll bounce off it like it's a concrete. And so add to that the different angles and mounds on the greens and around the greens. You might have golfers thinking they're hitting a great shot only for it to land next to the pin and bounce 50 feet away and roll off the green.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to aim at pins. That's for sure.
And Phil Mickelson, took some time looking at this course, and he says it plays exactly like the British Open plays. The ball runs like the British. You're hitting the same shots as the British. And so it's like a British Open in the U.S., and now that's a good transition to talking about maybe who's likely to win. Phil Mickelson never won a U.S. Open. It's the last leg of the career Grand Slam for him, and I think this might be his last best chance because of the style of the course.
He won that British Open, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Right.
That's ironic that this is a U.S. Open on a course just like a British Open, and then they're playing at St. Andrews, the next major. So it's basically these two courses are a lot alike in that respect. Not flat, it's like St. Andrews, but that's somebody like that, somebody very fit, is going to be able to do some damage here if they do.
Now, Mickelson's not that fit, so maybe he'll be fatigued a little bit going up against some of these younger guys. Like, got some odds here. Of the favorite, Rory McIlroy, world number one. He's 5-1 favorites to win the U.S. Open this week. Second at 8-1 odds is Jordan Spieth. And certainly if it plays out that way coming down the back nine on Sunday with McIlroy and Spieth both in contention, that'll be awesome. And then you get a little bit of a dropout. You got your Mickelson at 15-1. You got Dustin Johnson at 18-1 and Justin Rose at 20-1. Also Ricky Fowler 20-1. Jason Day 22-1. Adam Scott 25-1. Bubba Watson 30-1. And Henrik Stenson 30-1. So those are your top 10 according to the odds in Vegas, the betting lines. I don't know. What do you guys think? You have a favorite in that group or someone else in mind that maybe you want to make a pick right now?
Well, I think they missed the mark on the odds here. I think you got to give the Europeans an edge here a little bit more than they did. Rory, of course, 5-1 sounds reasonable, but I really don't think Mickelson's going to have much of a chance in the U.S. Open here, especially off the tee. I think he's going to get in a lot of trouble. Justin Rose, I think they overestimated the odds on him. I think heavily, you got to put the Europeans at an advantage here in this Open, and I think a lot of long hitters are going to be surprised at this course off the tee as well. I think the more accurate you are off the tee, the better off you're going to be.
So who's your pick?
I'm gonna have to go with McIlroy, I think.
Okay, going out on a limb.
I wouldn't say I would going on a limb. He's 5-1.
Well, yeah, I know I was being sarcastic, but hey, you're not the only one picking Rory this week. I don't know, Rhett, who do you like?
Dustin Johnson is having a good year, and man, we all know he can bomb it. If he's any kind of accurate and rolling his putter, he gets on. He's streaky though. He'll go shoot a 7 under one round, and then coming down the stretch at the end of a round, blow up and run out of distance there. But I like him. Justin Rose is definitely, I think, one to look out for. Jordan. It's interesting. Jordan Spieth, he didn't even make it to the match play part of the USAM when they played there in 2010. He shot an 83 in the qualifying rounds there. So I don't know if it's didn't suit his eye or he had a bad day, but I'm not sure on him. I like to think Phil could do it, but like I said, this course may wear him out. But another one that's what Jason Day's had 2 seconds in the last 3 years. It'd be interesting to see if he could break through. But I'll go out and I'll pick Dustin Johnson.
Okay, fair enough.
Bunkers are well defined there, right? So he shouldn't have a problem.
Exactly.
I really want to pick Mickelson. But every time I do, going back to even when in the younger days of 20, 25 years ago, he would always let me down. So I'm not going to pick him, and hopefully maybe he can. I'm rooting for him.
Root for him, yeah.
But I can't pick him. Kind of, I want to pick Bubba Watson because of the way the course is. But you know what? I don't.
They're wide fairways, right,
Yeah.
Rhett?
Yeah, I
They're
mean, the one fairway is 100 yards wide. And then they have the one short par 4 that's 17 yards wide, but they're blowing it over that. So that one, but yes, for generally speaking, they're 75 to 100 yards wide on most of the fairways. He's got a great shot if he's rolling his putter, if he hits the ball in the right spots on his iron. If his iron plays on and his putter's okay, I think he's a good chance to be there late in the tournament.
Well, I think I'm going to go with young Jordan Spieth. I remember when we were sitting up here in the studio after he won the Masters, we were like, heck yeah, this guy can win the U.S. Open. He can win the British Open. He can win them all.
Two in a row.
We've had a Triple Crown winner this year in horse racing, so why not keep the dream alive for Spieth? He's the FedEx points leader. Mm-hmm. He's averaging 69.1 a round this season. That's best on tour. He's played in 16 events and had 2 victories. He's kind of due for another win right now. I view this as maybe a 5-win type of season for Spieth at this point in his career. He's also got 3 second-place finishes and 1 third-place finish and 9 top 10 performances out of those 16. So you can't go wrong with Jordan Spieth, and that's my pick. But mentioned earlier, Fox going to be covering this thing. On Thursday, the first round is going to be available noon to 8 on Fox Sports 1, and then 8 to 11 p.m. primetime on Fox Thursday night.
Nice.
How awesome is that?
That is awesome.
Friday, noon to 8 on Fox Sports 1, 8 to 11 again on Fox. And that's, that's a network.
Right.
It's not Fox Sports 1 you might have to search for. Shouldn't have any trouble finding Fox.
Right.
So they're really sliding this programming in their first year.
First year getting a prime time.
Are they
event.
doing anything crazy like micing all the players or having?
Well, there's some other things I read about in here that I'll get to in a second. Saturday's third round going to be 2 o'clock to 10 p.m. So that's 8 hours of coverage on Saturday live on Fox, and then Sunday same thing, except it goes a little later, 2 to 10:30 on Fox. If there's a playoff, it would be noon to 4 p.m. Eastern time. On Fox, they would cover that too. So, U.S. Open, of course, if there's a tie after regulation, 18-hole playoff on Monday.
Which is the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
Monday golf.
Yeah. When it happens.
Yeah.
It's usually kind of anticlimactic because there's only 2 guys, and one guy usually opens up like a 7-stroke lead.
Right.
Except for 08.
08. Who was that?
Tiger and Rocco.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that's probably the all-time
was the
classic.
greatest.
It's the all-time
18 holes
classic.
all the way down to the end. 2 days in a row.
Fox going to have Joe Buck and Greg Norman. I mean, that's going to be a lot different too. Mike Tirico, no Jim Nance, no Johnny Miller.
Yep.
Totally new tandem covering golf.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be weird.
Norman's usually speaks his mind. They're going to anchor the coverage. There's going to be Brad Faxon, Mark Loomis, Tom Weiskopf, and Holly Saunders.
Holly Saunders.
That's
That's
part.
not a bad choice. It's Jim Gray or Holly Saunders. Let me think about that.
You can't go wrong with Holly, right?
No, I mean, she could make the whole thing successful just alone with that addition. I mean,
I agree.
In prime time, there's going to be a lot of people seeing this event.
More people talking about the Holly Saunders addition to the team over more people talking about her than Tom Weiskopf.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Some of the stuff that Fox says they're going to do, because they usually take it to the extreme when they do it, or do something like that.
Yep.
They're going to use a lot of drones.
Drones, right?
What?
Yeah, there's going to be drones all over the place, I guess.
Flyovers everywhere.
Really?
So we'll see.
He said closer, obviously, than a blimp shot, but far enough away.
Yeah.
Not like the camera in the backfield on the football game. The Fox coverage of the football games.
They're not going to hover it right over the guy's head.
No. That'd be awesome if they did.
I know it. You could. I mean, if they were quiet enough, you really could almost do that.
Fox is always pushing the edge, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yep. So in addition to the drones, they also said they're going to have more extensive on-course microphones, which I don't really understand. Everything's already mic'd. You hear I don't know what else they can do in terms of mic.
Unless they're going to pick up player conversations.
But they already do. They have those shotgun mics that they'll carry around.
Yeah, but normally they only let you in towards the end of a tournament. During normal play earlier in the week, you don't get to hear the caddy player conversation normally.
Well, I wouldn't envision the USGA saying, "Yeah, go ahead and put all these mics on if it's in any way intrusive,"
right?
Because this is a national championship. But Alan Shipnuck of SportsIllustrated.com recently tweeted, "This is going to be total golf porn, one of the most visually spectacular courses on the planet." So for Fox's first run at it, they've got a great venue. They've got prime time. And let's hope they don't drop the ball because, there's only 4 majors a year. And there's only one U.S. Open a year. And they're going to really, in their first shot at it, it's a high-profile deal here.
They got to hit the mark.
It'd be tough to talk as much as Johnny Miller does, but hopefully Greg Norman doesn't just try and make it about him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Greg Norman play in the U.S. Open at Oak Hill. 89, yeah. It was there was one hole in particular where the ball, he overshot a green and the ball rolled up near us, and we spread out, and then next thing you know, I was probably 17 at the time. There's Greg Norman, like 5 feet from you, and this was when Greg Norman was Tiger Woods or Greg Norman was Jack Nicklaus. He was like that big. He was the biggest personality in golf, and actually transcending golf to just everybody knew who Greg Norman was, and he had that great rivalry going with Nick Faldo, but of course it was Curtis Strange winning.
Right. Yeah. Not too many people get that close to a shark,
And one other U.S. Open story I have, because this is one of the greatest stories I like to tell of all of golfing stories that I might have. You remember the playoff between Hale Irwin and Mike Donald?
Yeah.
It comes down to 18. Mike Donald's lead in. Hale Irwin chips in to force the playoff, from off the green. And so Mike Donald, pro from Texas. The U.S. Open doesn't carry long exemptions like the Masters or some of the other majors do. So I think if you...
10 years.
I think Mike Donald only in the second place finish got him maybe 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, Tiger's coming up on... He's probably got a bunch of other exemptions to keep him going longer, but and ratings will keep him in there. But they do have. They're one of the few that has the.
That'll become an issue though when he loses the automatic exemptions, and he's taking a spot from a younger player. That'll definitely become an issue. But so Mike Donald, and they go to playoff. Hale Irwin wins easily in the playoff, but Mike Donald had a U.S. Open 1 until Hale Irwin comes along and chips in from out of the rough and dances around the green. Remember him? Dances around the green. Yeah. Well, I caddied back in the day for our local pro, Nick Serafino, and Nick, twice I caddied for him where he made it past the local qualifying for the U.S. Open to the regional. So we go to the regional, and this is, I want to say 5 years. It may have been less. I don't know how many years you get for second place in the U.S. Open. It may only be 2 or 3, but sure enough, in the mail, we get our pairings, and it says you're playing with Mike Donald. I'm thinking, holy crap. First of all, this guy... regional qualifying for the U.S. Open is so far from being in a Monday playoff. You got so far to go. This guy, Mike Donald, was in a playoff, and he could taste the major. He had it until Irwin chipped in, and now here he was, 3, 4, 5, whatever it was, not that far removed from that, and he's sitting there with Nick Serafino trying to qualify for the tournament.
Right.
Well, Mike Donald went about his business. It was unbelievable to watch him. He medaled, qualified, but I just kept thinking about, man, what that must be like to have been so close, and now he's back here, with all the club pros and all the other touring pros that aren't exempt, just trying to get into the tournament again.
Right.
And, he did. He, like a 67, 68. Yeah. It was 36-hole one-day qualifier, and, never missed one shot. He missed all day. He hit it left, and it was near the out-of-bounds stakes, but somebody had taken an out-of-bounds stake and put it in somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
Like you could see the hole where the original out-of-bounds stake was, but it had been moved, And so Mike Donald's ball was out of bounds according to the stake, but not according to the hole in the ground where the stake should have been. So they called over officials. It was at least a 10-minute delay. We're standing there in the fairway, and Mike Donald went freaking crazy. He lost his mind on that official. He was upset, and he eventually got the ruling and then went on. And like I said, that was the only shot that he mishit all day. Fairway greens, 2-putt. Fairway greens, maybe roll one in every now and then. But and he was the nicest guy. He was a real nice guy.
Amazing how good they are, even, on and off the tour and trying to qualify. They just still hit it wherever they want.
The difference between, and this isn't taking anything from Nick. He's been Nick Serafino, one of the strongest players, upstate New York, and it, as a club pro, it's difficult to prep for these things the same way that a touring pro does.
Yeah.
But there was, night and day difference, not in watching them swing or hit single shots, but watching them play their round, just the total control Mike Donald had in the short game and the putting. And it was just kind of another level, but it's kind of a subtle thing. So
you were talking about qualifiers. I was looking today. Luke Donald, Lee Jansen, and Retief Goosen all had to qualify.
Yeah, can you imagine that? These are some of the best players in the world, tradition.
Yeah. Luke Donald was number 1 in the world, 3 years ago?
Yep.
He's qualifying on a Monday.
Right.
So it's tough. And we could try to qualify. I think you need to be a 4 handicap.
Yeah, there is a ceiling there to try to qualify.
Well,
I don't think I'm in any danger of getting into that tournament.
You want to give it a shot? I do, guys. Got to tell you, men of our certain age, I do think that I'd like to go give the Mid-Am a shot this year.
Yeah.
If not,
go for
just for the experience and fun of it. Get a group of guys, go, we pay the $100 entry fee or whatever it is.
I've done it in the past.
It's late in the season. I can't remember where the local qualifiers are, but we'll list them for you upcoming. Maybe we should try to give that a shot this year. Of course, maybe it's because I now have 3 rounds in a row in the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even though it's been all wet and muddy, we've been playing it down in the rough, but I finally feel like my game is coming around a little bit. It was 77, 76, 78 last 3 rounds of golf on Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
Must be talking to those putts again.
The putting actually hasn't been great. I've been hitting the ball pretty good. Not like I just know where it's going. And the short game has been good. And honestly, guys, I think this type of conditions, short game's not that difficult when it's a little soft. You kind of just flop it up there. And so I've been getting up and down quite a bit. My wedges have been good. But I've also, one thing I've done different is in all those rounds, I've hit my hybrid off the tee quite a bit on holes that I normally wouldn't. Like, I've hit the hybrid off the tee on 6. I've hit the hybrid off the tee on 10, 11, 14, 15, and 16.
Oh, nice.
In those rounds because the rough is so high and so wet that I said to myself, I'd rather be in the fairway. And so now I'm thinking to myself, well, geez, I'm able to hit these rounds kind of in the scoring range I've been looking for, doing that when it's wet. When it firms up, I'm going to get an extra 30, 40 yards a roll off these hybrids. So now I'm thinking, geez, I could hit that off a 2 at the club. I could hit it off a 8.
Right. How'd you play 16 with a hybrid? You hit hybrid and
hybrid to like the just short of the pond.
Right.
And chip it up and either bogey or par it.
Right.
Which mostly I think it was a bogey almost all 3 of those rounds. But I also read, I think the last round before that I played was with you before you went away, and I had a decent round go. I was 5 over par, so I had been playing along that level.
Yeah.
I got to 16 and made a 9 after having some trouble in the woods.
16 was
I've
trouble for you
played 16 with nothing but a 7-iron and bogeyed it. 7-iron off the tee, 7-iron, 7-iron, 7-iron short.
Yeah.
And chipped with the 7-iron.
Well, you got to keep in front of that hole.
Yeah.
No, the way I look at it with 16 is that if I have a short wedge or a chip, I just want a chance at par in that hole. It's and take up 5 at worst.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you got to think about how keep the ball in front of you and if you get a bogey on 16, sometimes it's a good thing if you're having a bad round or a good round.
Right. I mean, you keep it to a max 5, and you're coming out of there and feeling pretty good with 2 holes left.
Right.
Well, I want to remind you to subscribe and like us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the red button below or give us the thumbs up. Click that little thumb up to like us. We're on iTunes, Stitcher.com. We're on the FingerLakes1.com app at the Android or Apple Store. And all of these links, plus our latest episodes and complete archives, are online at fingerlakes1.tv/golfpod. That's a new URL.
Yep.
Shorter than the old one, Bob. You may remember it was podcast.fingerlakes1.com/FLXgolfer. A lot easier for you to remember now.
Shorter's better.
So that's fingerlakes1.tv/golfpod. Last week, Bob, your pick of the week was the Bionic Golf Glove, and we really raved about how great that was. And then we come to find out it doesn't even conform to USGA, so scratch that. Have you been wearing it since?
No. I've
honest as the day is long.
I've relegated it to range work. Just using it on the range. You know what? I like the glove. It's got a great fit. It's got a great feel. So I'll use it on the range. Now, if you do have an arthritic condition, I guess maybe a doctor's excuse, you can wear it. The USGA will allow you to wear it.
Are your joints feeling a little arthritic?
No, actually, no.
Honest as the day is long.
You know what though? The glove. I really don't understand why it's non-conforming. It doesn't. I didn't think it was any advantage except it was a good feeling.
What's
glove.
it made of?
It's made of leather. It's a little thicker.
Okay.
There's ribs along the
the joints.
So the club lays right between the ribs when you.
Okay.
But my opinion is you don't. After the first time you put it on and you play a couple holes, you don't even feel them anymore. It doesn't. It's not like a reminder, in my opinion.
Right.
And I think that's why it was deemed non-conforming, is because of those
the setup,
those thicker padding.
Right.
But I don't think it should be non-conforming, but it is, and you have to abide by the USGA rules. So
you must abide.
Yep.
Some local golf news for you guys and for our listeners here as we move along. For the second consecutive season, Auburn's Lindsay May won the New York State Golf Championship. May won last year as an 8th grader, making her a 9th grader this year. Back-to-back champs as a 9th grader. She came back to win by shooting a 1 under par for the tournament. The only golfer to accomplish that over the course of the weekend at SUNY Delhi. So congratulations, Lindsay May. That's certainly an incredible accomplishment as a freshman in high school to now be the back-to-back defending New York State champ for the Auburn Maroons out of Section 3. Shout out to Chuck Erzman, Auburn Maroon himself.
Yep.
Central New York PGA this week played at the Turning Stone Pro-Am at Corning Country Club. Do not have the results for that one as we had some technical issues leading up to the show. You may notice a little bit of a different look on this week's show. But that's a story for another podcast. Next Monday, they'll be at the Towsley Pro-Am at Shenandoah at Turning Stone in Verona, hosted by our good friend, head pro Eric Lorenzetti up there. So that's what's going on in the Central New York PGA. Frank Plata of Cazenovia Country Club won his 3rd career Syracuse District Golf Association Senior Championship last week at Camillus Country Club with a 2-day total of 3 over par. And one of the best amateur tournaments around. The Monroe Invitational. Virginia Commonwealth University's Adam Ball called the Monroe Invitational his favorite tournament of the summer, and chances are he's an even bigger fan of the event now after he fired a final round 62, tying a course record and tournament record and overcoming a 7-stroke deficit to win the 75th Monroe Invitational.
That's a great score.
Absolutely. Some tournaments more maybe our speed coming up. The Seneca County House of Concern 4-man scramble on Wednesday of this week at Seneca Falls Country Club. That's a $340 a team or $90 per person, per golfer. The Scratch Series event that we've been touting for the end of the month is been moved from June 27th to 28th at Seneca Falls Country Club. So that's going to be Sunday, June 28th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the SFCC two-man scramble. More information at SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. The FLCC Foundation Golf Tournament is coming up on June 22nd. That's a 1 o'clock shotgun start at Ravenwood Golf Club in Victor. 4-person scramble. $600 per team, More information, email foundation@flcc.edu. The United Way of Wayne County Golf Tournament is coming up on June 26th at Victor Hills Golf Club. That's a 10 a.m. start to that 4-man scramble. All these things are scrambles, Everybody loves the 4-man scramble. $100 to get in. For information, call Joan Sorrell at 791-3601. That's probably a 585 area code. The Cracker Box Palace Benefit Golf Tournament coming up on June 29th at 1 o'clock. Sodas Bay Heights, 4-person scramble, $400 a team. More information at crackerboxpalace.org. And then, of course, the granddaddy of them all, Bobby, the Dutch Hollow 2-man scramble. Still spots available coming up on Saturday and Sunday, July 11th and 12th. Best 2-man, 2-day tournament going. More information at DutchHollow.com. And finally, I have our hole-in-ones for the week. Denise Redden used a 6-iron to ace the 126-yard 4th hole at Cobblestone Creek. Paul Lynn used a pitching wedge to ace the 119-yard 3rd hole at Eagle Vale. Mark Scholes used a 5-iron on the 165-yard 15th hole at Drumlins West. Sean Buckley used a 5-iron to ace the 177-yard 5th hole at Center Point. Also at Center Point, Richard Ertel used a 5-wood to ace the 191-yard 16th. Mark Condon used a 5-wood to ace the 194-yard 5th hole at Blue Heron Hills. Justin Larson used a driver to score a hole-in-one on the 194-yard 5th at Blue Heron. Ryan Woodworth used a 7-iron to ace the 143-yard 16th hole at Victor Hill Country Club's North. And G. Kim aced the 128-yard 9th at Victor Hill's executive course using a 7-iron. I don't know how you guys feel about aces on executive courses, if they should count. Rhett?
Sure.
Count it.
Sure.
Count it. It's a par 3, right?
Yep.
Wasn't it you, Rhett, who has you've had 2 hole-in-ones and one of them's on a par 3 course? Is that you?
I cannot take credit for that. No, I've missed a couple by a few inches, but I've never had one. But a couple of these are long. 191 yards.
Yeah, we got good players out there
Absolutely.
listening to this podcast.
A lot of hole-in-ones this week, huh?
Well, it's June. It might be raining, but it's June. People are golfing.
Greens are forgiving.
Yep.
Well, if you did make a hole-in-one yourself and you want to let us know about it so we can let our listeners know about it, send us your hole-in-ones to contact@fingerlakes1.com. Subject line, FLX Golfer. That's contact@fingerlakes1.com. That's the number 1, the digit. And make the subject line FLX Golfer. Well, we did miss out on the pick of the week this week, Bobby, segment with the big U.S. Open preview, but that doesn't mean that I don't have a quick Zen tip before we get out of here.
Nice.
Zen tip of the week.
Okay, this week's Zen tip of the week. You're going to be watching the U.S. Open, and it's going to be a grueling test the course is going to wear on these players. They're going to get bad breaks. They're going to get good breaks. But it's an opportunity for us all to watch how these players react to the bad breaks and the impossible situations that they get in at the Open, because we'll never face conditions as tough as these guys do. But also something to watch is Thursday, Friday, or even early in the round on Sunday when one of the guys who ends up being in contention struggles a little bit early. Yeah. Sometimes you forget about that, but then you'll see that guy there on Sunday, and you got to think back to that time on, Thursday afternoon when you saw him make a double bogey and you said, oh, he's done, So just watch, enjoy the golf, but watch how the players handle themselves and react after a bad hole. And, see if you can emulate that, I guess, is my tip of the week here, is to try to emulate the Zen ways of the pros.
The ones that stay under control.
Right.
Oh, yeah. There might be examples out there of some guys who, lose their mind and blow right up. But
Bubba might not handle getting into that fescue if he misses a few drives.
Yeah.
But it would certainly be a test. So again, my tip this week, just to look at that aspect of it while you're enjoying the coverage and you're enjoying the reports from Holly Saunders.
What do you think the score's going to be?
Oh man, isn't that the $1 million question?
We should do a draft of the score.
A score draft. All right, let's do it, Rhett. You start.
I think
Plus or minus par will go. That's the score we want.
Well, I definitely think it's going to be plus. Just the length and the danger all around the course. I'm going to go with +6.
Well, that's a pretty high score for a major. What do you say, Bob?
I'm going to say 2
2?
plus 2.
Well, now, Rhett's played the course, so I would take his opinion over maybe anybody's. But, you know, I am looking at this course, and it is so much different. But these guys are used to scouting out a course and playing their shots that they need to do. And I don't think that it's going to be 20 players under par, but I think the winning score is going to be under par. I'm going to go say 2 under, maybe 3 under. I'm going to say 3 under. I think there might be a lot of hype. I know, Rhett, that you playing that course is difficult, but these guys are good.
No,
I don't
absolutely.
know. That should be a good slogan maybe for the PGA Tour.
My barometer is what I'm seeing on
something.
Twitter and what the players are saying. So that's kind of my barometer.
Well, some of the players are telling the USGA director, Mark Davis, who said, geez, these guys got to come play. And I think it was Ian Poulter said, what's his handicap?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's saying that they'll be, if they don't come check it out, or if they didn't come check it out, they'll be +10s.
Yeah, he said they need to come play it like 5 times, or they should be coming 2 weeks early. Maybe that's true. You know, there's something to be said for that.
What was the score the year that Michael Campbell won Pinehurst? Wasn't that like +4 or 5? Isn't that number up there?
It was positive. It was. I think you're right.
I just think that this one with I mean, there could be somebody out there. Obviously, these guys with Rory McIlroy and Spieth and those guys.
I tell you, hitting it in this high grass is different than hitting it in the woods.
No doubt. I mean, but at the same time, you go to St. Andrews sometimes, and it's set up for them. They allow them to go low, real low.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be interested to see maybe not only what the low score is, but what's the median score. Because I think the median score might be higher than normal on this course.
Right.
For U.S. Open standards, but I think there'll be
the
handful of players that really feel comfortable out there. Whether that's Mickelson because it's like the British Open, or McIlroy because it's like the British Open, or there's opportunities, even though the course is long, for guys like Dustin Johnson and Bubba Watson and the other long hitters to score out there.
Yeah, I mean, 12. You got number 12 is. I can't wait to watch that hole. I think that's going to be one of the featured holes on the coverage online. But they can, there's going to be a lot of chances for eagle on that hole if the wind's going the right way.
I should have checked this for the online coverage. Just got the television coverage. You just go to probably foxsports.com.
Yeah, well, I have the USGA app on the iPad.
Yeah, they do a good job.
And they do it all day, starting I think around 11 a.m. They have the 2 featured holes, and they have the featured group. So it's not full coverage, but it's pretty good.
Was that 11 a.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I think so.
So you get pretty much full day coverage if you wanted.
Absolutely.
And, the other thing to remember with this is we said that the coverage is planning on ending at 10 p.m. Eastern and 10:30 p.m., but they still have another hour and a half of daylight at that time. Out west.
Yeah.
So a little rain delay or things just get dragged out a little bit. You might be watching 11:30 at night. The last group come in.
Perfect. Game of Thrones is over, so
we don't have to worry about that.
It's true. What'd you think of the finale, Bob?
I was shocked, but
a lot of interesting things happened last night on that show.
Absolutely.
Well, without any Game of Thrones spoilers, it's just sometimes I just think they go a little too far with stuff that. You watch the scene and you get the point of the scene, but like for instance the scene where one of the characters was walking through town, and then all these people were doing obscene things that they didn't need that necessarily.
Right.
But
30 seconds
I don't want to spoil it for
for
anybody. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Right.
So, but hey, before you finish, Jim, no commitment on the score? You haven't given us a score.
Oh, 3 under.
3 under. Okay.
3 under.
All right, so we got 2
I
pluses.
was going to say 2 under, but the more I talked about the fact that I think that a handful of players are going to feel comfortable out there, I'm dropping it to 3.
Well, you and I have a 9-shot difference, so somebody's going to be very wrong, and somebody might be
well
right.
Between when Bob,
Bob will
you're
probably
somewhere
get it.
in the middle, huh?
Yeah.
Plus 2, so it'll probably be Bob.
So I'm thinking that wind can kick off that Puget Sound pretty good too. So, I guess it depends on conditions.
Is there an early weather forecast?
I haven't seen anything.
I think I saw pretty clear the next few days. I think up to Thursday looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need to see rain or high winds for it to be interesting. I hope for good conditions. I think that way the superintendent can control the way the course plays. So,
yep.
And I imagine it's going to be firm. They're going to want it to be firm and fast.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for coming in. Rhett, thanks for coming in. You can come in next Monday when we recap it.
Yeah, we got to figure out and see who we got.
Well, you keep the notes.
We picked. Who did we pick? We picked.
I picked Rory.
And I picked Spieth.
Yeah, okay. Spieth, and I picked Dustin, right?
Yep.
Now, how about before we go, just along somebody outside of maybe the top 15 or 20 who you think might have a shot at it? Put everybody on the spot.
Oh, it's a quick one there.
I got someone. I'll take Angel Cabrera.
Wow, the big cat, huh?
Yeah.
You said out of the top 20?
Well, anybody that's probably less than a 40-1 favorite.
I'll just put Tiger out there then. He's like, what, 165th in the world?
Oh,
so.
now we didn't even talk about Tiger. Do you think there's any chance for Tiger? I mean, obviously you're picking him. I don't see any chance.
Not after last week.
Yeah.
Or whenever it was, a couple weeks ago when he was spraying it everywhere. If he sprays it, he's done. I mean, he's no shot.
Yeah, I mean, he shot an 85 at the Memorial, of course, he's comfortable with. And so now, what's he going to do? Come into this course? And
you may see him use a lot of 3-woods, even though longer hitters benefit here. But if you keep in the fairway, that's the first and foremost. You don't necessarily have to be way down the fairway. As long as you're in the fairway on the right side, you're going to be having a lot better chances. So you never know with him. But if we're taking long shots, I'm going to go with him.
All right, you can take Tiger, and I'm going to take Patrick Reed.
Wow.
All right. And
I still am impressed by the way he played in the Ryder Cup.
Right.
And I think that same type of player can grind and thrive in this type of open environment. So give me Patrick Reed. And like I said, Rhett, thanks for coming in.
Thank
Bob,
you.
always a pleasure to spend Monday nights with you up here talking golf. And
absolutely.
And we'll play next. All three of us will play Wednesday, I think, right?
0% chance of rain.
I got a soccer game.
Oh, no way.
So I missed last week, so I definitely I'm not going to miss that. But I'll get out there with you real soon.
Nice.
Well, we hope that we're all getting out there. Hope the rain stays away. We get to more summer-like conditions here in the Finger Lakes. Keep your fingers crossed. But if not, get out there anyway. Slop it around a little bit. Before you know it, it'll be snowing again.
Yep.
So next week we'll take a look back at the U.S. Open and see how we did with our picks and see how it all played out. We should have a lot to talk about. So remember to subscribe. That way next week's episode and all future episodes will be right there in your feed, whether it's on YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher.com. Also email us at contact at fingerlakes1.com. with your local golf photos, videos, links. Send us your events to read on there, and of course your hole-in-ones, and everything's online at fingerlakes1.tv/golfpod. So hope you had a great time hanging out with us for episode number 27 of the Finger Lakes Golfer Podcast, and we'll be back live next Monday night at 9 p.m. Until then, hit 'em long, not often.
Support great local content like this by becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.
FingerLakes1.com